Yo, what up, everyone? It's me, Atari HMB. How's everyone doing today? So we got a couple members in the chat today. This is looking pretty hype. Let's see here. Who do we got today? So let's just welcome everyone to the stream. We got Bob 9001, the Dark Knight 47, Ballistic Boo, and Atox. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're definitely going to be having a great stream today. We're going to be actually reviewing, and what's up, Cool OK? Is going to be reviewing Dragon Ball in most cases, which is right here. So I'm excited to really take a closer look into this chapter today. I think we're going to have a little bit of fun. So what we're going to be doing here today is we're going to go ahead and breeze through the chapter and give our thoughts on it. But after we're done with it, we're going to actually do a live stream power scale. So I'm actually going to be remaking the Dragon Ball Cosmology map. So the Dragon Ball Cosmology map I first made was just a simple guide to kind of just give people a general idea on how the cosmology actually scaled. We're actually going to be doing that again, but we're going to keep things a lot more simplistic this time around. We're going to be using sources, and the whole idea of it is that when we make that general map, we're going to try to leave as many sources as possible to try to make it as objective as possible. So any type of argument or statement somebody makes against it, it's like, all right, well, we're going to leave a legitimate reasoning behind every single tier we put in most cases, and that's just going to be able to make the list a lot more easier. Yo, what's up, Roz? How you doing today? Welcome back, man. GG's from yesterday for sure. Definitely going to be looking forward to this. Definitely going to be looking forward to this stream today. I'm glad everyone is here today. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we're really going to start with the first chapter. Well, the Dark Knight 47, you'll see. You'll have to wait and see. If you really want to see it, just stick around. It only takes us about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to get through this chapter. So within 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to jump right into immediately doing the scaling because I want to make this stream very productive for everyone, and I don't want to prolong everything, because if somebody watches this video, they want to get straight to the point. So I'll be doing that. I haven't hired somebody yet, but it would be nice if somebody was able to take timestamps on, I probably would even try to reward if anyone is willing to take timestamps on when I talk about specific topics, and then leave it in the comment section below, and then I can pin the comment. I would appreciate that, just so I can keep everything consistent and move with the flow. But everyone who's been making it to the stream so far, welcome. We're going to be having some fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. If you guys are not here, you haven't been late yet. Most of the time, the stream is just getting started. So, yeah. And that's all good, Roz. You got me. You got it perfect on me. So, I mean, you're making me want to hit the lab again, definitely. I'm going to make sure my Ken is back to where it used to be. For sure. Whew. All right, let's see here. All right, who we got coming in today? All right, let's see. All right, so guys, when the tournament of Power Goku surpassed Super Trunk, Future Trunks Saga Vegeta Blue. We'll answer all of those questions in this stream today, Bob, because when you're talking about cosmology, you have to go in every detail you can, because cosmology, as long as you have more evidence, it's important. We're going to clarify a couple things. It's okay, Atox. I used to be a competitive Smash player. You can look up my name. You just type in Atari SSB Wiki and you'll find me. I used to play competitive. You guys can just probably find me on YouTube, probably still playing, but I haven't been competitive in a long time, but occasionally I'll still practice with some of the goats around my region, which actually I should invite him to the stream. But anyway, that being said, yeah, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do in this chapter today. This chapter is going to be really interesting. I can't wait to get into it. And last thing I want to say before the 10-minute mark, before we really get started. Yeah, Craft This, shut up. By the way, Craft This, everyone, is that guy. If you just look him up, you'll find out he's the best Sonic, likely on the entire East Coast, in my opinion. I think the only competition, I think the only guy who could challenge that is Wrath, but I don't even know if Wrath lives on the East Coast no more. Yeah, Craft is definitely the best Sonic on the East Coast, in my opinion, for sure. And then we got Sonics, and then Kells, and then Ken. I mean, Sonito's pretty good, but I don't know, man. Craft has been putting in some work. So, who knows? Oh, no, I'm not one of the top NES players for sure. I'm okay with NES right now because I'm not playing NES anymore. I'm playing Marth. But who knows? Maybe Craftus might yell at me enough to tell me, no, use NES again. Use Marth as a counter pick or as a warm-up option. Or as a character who can pick apart bad options that other characters do. But Marth will teach you that. If you don't play Marth properly, you'll get punished for any little mistake you do. And yeah, whatever. Bottom line is, who knows? Maybe I just need a break from this, you know? It's like when Craftus started playing Sora for several months in a row. What's up, Stride? Welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be just getting into the chapter. I want to clarify a couple things, guys. When you get into power scaling, and we'll talk about this a little bit later with cosmology, just remember there's a difference between using supplementary evidence, primary source, because you have primary source and secondary source, supplementary evidence, and then you have assessments, right? And all of those can still be done without coming to the conclusion of headcanon. Possibly. Just can be a little difficult, but we'll get into that. All right, hold on. All right. All right, let's see here. Hey, Stride, thank you so much for the $2 donation. Hello, how are you today? Thank you again. Yeah, I said hello. I don't know if you heard me, but I appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, but that was like in Smash 4 ATOX, so I mean I've been out of shape since then. I don't compete as much anymore at all. Though I still could. According to Craftus, I could still be top 3, top 2 in the same region. Well, top 5 in the same region. The region is a little bit more difficult because there's a lot of heavy hitters like Lade, XL, Mars, and Light. But other than those guys, other than those 4, shouldn't be too hard. Ling is pretty tough too, but I don't know. The more I've practiced with Ninja Link, the more confident I feel versus any player in the world right now. I don't care what region they're from. I feel like I have enough skill to pretty much take a game off any player in the world. Because right now, the skill gap in most Ultimate players isn't that huge. I can even see Craftus taking a game off Leo, right? If he's playing at his peak. If you want me to be honest, so just depends. What if Leo's playing at his peak? It's the same thing, peak for peak. I don't think it's like Melee, where it's like the gap is like comparing Aizen to a Espada, That's how Melee is. But anyway. I'm not going to thank you in the Atara voice, my friend. I actually have... No, I'm just kidding. No, but thank you, seriously. You are not going to come here and demand me...
Just start talking like this. But thank you, Stride.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, for real now. Great. So yeah, we're definitely going to use this list later on. This list is going to come important. All right, so let's go ahead and begin, guys. Yo, what's good, Atsar? People say Batman rocks Goku, no power-ups. Hell no. There's no way he would. We'll get into that, though. All right, so first and foremost, let's go ahead and begin with the chapter. I think this is a good place to put it. I don't like how... Man, let me get out of this. Let's do this. There we go, much better. That's showing you guys all my bookmarks. You're like, oh, Atari got dictionaries, Bibles, and old documents as his... You'll start seeing that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I do. I told you. Comes to biblical topics, I know more about that than even Dragon Ball. But only 3 people in this chat know I know that stuff. Only 3 people. Anyway. I'm a voice actor, man. Alright, so Dragon Ball Super Chapter 93. Operation Kidnap Pan, written by Akira Toriyama. Alright, so I'm really interested in this chapter. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We're not gonna really dwell in this chapter. We're just gonna breeze through it. I mean, there's not much to really talk about, so I'm just gonna kind of just zoop by the chapter. I'm not really worried about anything else. I just want to see like Broly and Goku to get some information. Because we already seen this in the movie. So like, this is Broly, one of the few surviving Saiyans and one with incredible latent potential. Cool. Envious of young Broly's power, King Vegeta had exiled him to a remote bordered planetoid. Send him to planet Vampa. Yes, sire. For 41 years, he and his father eked out major lies. Mark my words, King Vegeta, I'll have my revenge. One day, Lemo and Chilla of the Frieza's army found them by chance. No way, are you two really Saiyans? At long last, we're saved. It's been an eternity. Yeah. You know the problem is like, you know the problem with literature is like if nobody has ever taken college level literature, there are a lot of people who will take this word verbatim and say Saiyans are immortal. And that like irks me more than anything, in my honest opinion. Because there are people out there who will literally say, oh yeah, look at this. It's been an eternity. They can live for eternity. I'm like, no. This is just literature. This is how they write. So, like, that's the key thing. You got to understand the difference between expressive language and actual verbatim statements. But we'll get into that later, because that's actually going to be a big factor into the cosmology. Don't ask 23 minutes before you spoil the chapter. Having joined with Frieza, the 2 Saiyans headed for Earth. Life on Earth had been peaceful for a time. But just after the Tournament of Power, Goku and Vegeta found themselves battling Broly, who initially struggled against them. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. He'll snap and go berserk if they push him any further. That sounds like a power-up. Let's test your theory. Boom, blasts him. Look, Broly! Your dear father was struck and killed by a stray blast! And then he powers up. Surely enough, the death of Broly's father triggered a rampage, granting the Saiyan power that eclipsed Goku and Vegeta's own strength. Alright, cool. So Broly had a rage boost. Cool. However, by fusing into Gogeta, the pair managed to overcome even Broly's awesome might. Broly, along with Lemo and Shella, left Frieza's army and escaped back to the planetoid Broly had come to call home. Hey, hold on! Slow down, man! You're about to go nuts again, weren't you? Like I keep saying, you gotta keep that side of you in check. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Any words of wisdom, Vegeta? You want to help out? Oh wait, hold on. You want to help out? You'll get rusty sitting there forever. Silence, don't disturb me. Training through meditation. You of all people? That's new. See, that's better. So Goku there is saying, training meditation, because Goku's like, I already did this stuff before. He's not making fun of it. So that's good. They corrected that. Because in the movie, he kind of made fun of Vegeta for meditating. And it's like... Hold on. Actually, no, never mind. I take back what I said. Looks like idiocy still exists in this chapter. Alright. Jiren, Broly, Moro, Gas, and even Frieza. I was shown to be inferior to all these foes in our recent years. What did they have that I lack? It just means you gotta train your body more, right? Incorrect. Our physical bodies have long since been honed to their limits. In that respect, our training already made us on par with those opponents. Wait, really? The key difference lies in how we wield our power. There's still too much excess, too much waste energy when we fight. To command 100% of our power, we must force our bodies and spirits to relax outside of the moments when we attack. Relax? Attacking in a relaxed state keeps the enemy from reading one's moves. Doing so allows for instantaneous explosive power and will also preserve stamina. Our foes are capable of that. I am not, so this phase of my training must take place in my own mind. Fabulous, Vegeta, I must say, to reach such a conclusion on your own. Focus solely on O-fishing beefing up one's muscles does not amount to proper training on its own. Hey, easier said than done. Your eureka moment is yet to come, Goku. Oh, I know. How about a match between you three boys to test these theory? Three Broly included? Surely you jest. He's gotten better, I admit, but you still gotta watch out for this guy. If he snaps, oof, say bye-bye to this planet. Fair point. Just you and Vegeta then. Alright. First off, I gotta say, Andre, I don't think Granola necessarily wasn't stronger than Goku and Vegeta, really. At least I don't think they were. At least, I don't know. It'd be more so cool if God Key was, let's see, Stride says, it'd be more cool if God Key was more so a technique-based path rather than another powerful, or power, I guess he meant power up with Goku's path being Ultra Instinct. Goku's an absolute idiot, though. It's meant to be part of the joke, I think. I get what you're saying, Atox, but here's the thing. Here's the problem with this. Like, already this deep into the chapter, like, I can just go back and go to another page. Hold on. Let's look at, let's look at the OG. Let's look at the OG. Let's look at the OG. I don't like what they did for a specific couple of reasons. No. Let's skip. Skip. Alright. Let's skip. And then here. So check this out. Let's remember this. Alright, tournament, huh? Alright, so look at this chapter here. This is going to be a key of why. This is why I'm a little disappointed with some of the things in Super. I know people try to say, yeah, you got it. Like, no, don't make excuses for it. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta, if you're going to be a writer for a legacy series, you got to do your research, you know? Like, if I write my own story and I contradict myself in my story, that's my fault. You know, J.K. Rowling doesn't contradict her Harry Potter stories, I think. But you get what I'm saying. And those stories are long. All right, let's see here. All right. And it's like, so talk. Do you think you could beat Cell? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen it since its metamorphosis. I'll go check it out. Goku teleports. So you did it. This is your completed form. I'll fight you in the tournament. You don't kill anybody else until then. Got it? It'll be a good fight. Son Goku, at last. It looks like this will be more fun than I expected. Goku, what did you think? Frankly, I didn't think he would get that much stronger. No way of knowing how powerful it'll be when it finally gets down to business. I won't really know until I try. But as I am now, I probably don't have a chance. It's that powerful? I was afraid of that. Then use the spirit of time again. We've just decided that I will go first, then Vegeta, then Trunks, then you two. I'm sorry. Alright, hold on. I'm sorry. I can't. I'll never be a match against that. Nah, Gohan and I will pass. We'll train out here. We'll manage in 9 days. What? You'll pass? You won't use this room again? That's what I said. Why? You still have another day before you've used up all your time. It's pretty tough in there. Even if you're not doing anything, I'll do better resting my body. Ha! Even the great Kakarot admits defeat against the rigors of the room. Then the infamous line comes. This is something people got to remember. Where he says here, ha! Even the great Kakarot admits defeat against the rigors of the room. And then Goku responds, one of my favorite lines that people need to realize. Maybe, but there's a point where stressing your body more is just torture, not training. I've got nothing against you guys using the room, though. You've probably still got room to improve. What did you say? Are you suggesting that you are more advanced than I am? Uh-huh, a lot. What? Good luck, everyone. Everybody, we'll meet again at the tournament. So basically what Goku is saying is, yeah, there comes a point where just training your body and muscles is not good. In fact, here's a trivia question for you guys in the chat. How did Goku unlock Super Saiyan 3? I'll let the chat answer that, because if you watch Dragon Ball, you'll know. How did Goku unlock Super Saiyan 3? It wasn't just going powering up all day. It came to a mental. He said, "Atox, that can't stand you," screaming. Yeah, obviously he screamed to achieve it, but to like actually recognize he had it. You know what I mean? And then this scene happens. Powers up. And then this one, a classic scene where he says here, Master Corrin, you've got a pretty good idea of how strong Cell is by watching from here, right? Mm-hmm. He wasn't shown his true powers, but I have a sense. Can you compare us? I'm gonna rev up now. And then, obviously, they were Super Saiyans without a doubt. Somehow, though, they trained themselves to maintain that state as if they were their norm. Basically, Goku treats his Mastered Super Saiyan is basically treating your Super Saiyan as if it's base. Then you can go Super Saiyan on top of your Super Saiyan. That's literally why it was called Beyond Super Saiyan in multiple advertisement orchestrated by Soatia. Anyway. Then, does that mean they'll undergo another huge transformation during battle? Fool! What? Where are your eyes? Your ears? They decided that this is their best combat state. If they get used to it, they'll minimize the strain on their bodies during battle. Huh? Kakarot has a strategy. And then obviously Goku does the screaming, powers up, and Yajirobe will be, enough! You're gonna shatter the tower! What is this? This chi. It's Goku. Well, that was about half. What'd you think? Half power? You never cease to astound me. Is there no limit to what you can become? That's funny. That can't be Dad's full strength. But how am I compared to Cell? You always ask the most difficult questions. As I said, this is only speculation. But honestly, I'm afraid Cell is still a bit stronger. Oh, jeez. What is this Cell thing? I thought so. I guessed right. Thanks, Master Corrin. Let's go, Gohan. Oh, yeah, right. See you later. Huh? He's gone. He ain't human no more. I told him he doesn't seem to stand a chance, and he seemed happy. Could he simply be accepting his fate? Blasted Kakarot! It's always like this. He always is a step ahead of me. Anyway, you guys get the point. Goku knows about meditation. Goku knows that boosting up your muscles doesn't matter. Yeah, Kevin, you're right by being dead, but I think a lot of people are still not getting it. There's a deeper reason why Goku actually reached Super Saiyan 3. Am I the only one who remembered Goku meditating to unlock a form beyond Super Saiyan? That wasn't the exact moment he technically unlocked it, but we don't know when it's confirmed. But we know that Goku has utilized meditation multiple times. Multiple times has he used meditation. Now, Vegeta, I like how they clarify. Now, to clarify what they're saying, Vegeta is basically saying Jiren and Broly and them are, they're about equal in physical strength. Which, I mean, if they're saying Jiren, Broly, Moro, Gas, and Frieza are all relative, because remember, Gas kept aging when Frieza fought him. So Frieza was stronger, but like, I think the idea is Vegeta saying we are strong, we are just as strong, like we're relative, but we're not utilizing our power. That kind of makes a little bit of sense if we're saying that they're around the same strength, because Jiren and Broly being comparative makes sense. If Moro and Gas being comparative makes sense, yeah, obviously. And Frieza. Like I was saying, like the most recent character arcs, like Moro was all about hacks. Broly was all about adapting super, super fast and wearing you out. Jiren was just outskilling them. Gas just was getting power-ups over time and evolving. So it became difficult to keep competing with him. Especially because Goku and Vegeta have yet to learn how to harness Master Ultra Instinct and Ego. You know what I mean? Exactly, Omni John. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Exactly. They've been meditating. So that's another thing. It's like they always like knew about this. I think what they like, I don't like the writing in that case in terms of saying we weren't much weaker. Because like, let's be honest, guys, like chat. Vegeta's kind of capping here. Like they're saying our physical bodies have reached their limits. In that respect, our training already made us on par. So basically he's saying if we didn't have chi, we're around the same strength, right? So if like they're the same strength, like if they're the same power strength-wise, it's like, yeah, I get they mean physical, but like, let's be honest, guys. Put a fire in the chat if you agree. Jiren was still physically stronger than Goku and Vegeta because he barely had to use any ki at all. And he still was physically stronger than them. Like it's clear if we watch the anime and read the manga, like how clear was it made that Jiren was just like literally not even comparable. Yeah, Jiren was stronger. Like I think this is a cap. Vegeta, like he's saying, like yeah, our physical training made us on par with them. No, it didn't. I mean, yeah, Jiren was meditating a lot, but like no, Jiren was physically strong. Jiren was Jiren was literally physically stronger than them. Like his energy, his ki. I get what they're saying. They're saying they reach a limit with their physicality. I'm like, if they reach the limit with their physicality, then why did Whis... Guys, what type of training did Whis put Goku and Vegeta through? Was it physical or mental? When Whis first started training them to unlock Blue and control God Ki, what did they have to do? Right? In fact, and I'm not here to contradict Dragon Ball Super and say it's badly written, but I'm here to say that there's a lot of inconsistencies with this because let's go back to this arc. Ready? Thank you, Atox. They train physically. A lot of people forget that. They train physically several times. So people forget, like, they had to train physically. Whis made them lift weights, made them do push-ups. What's the point in doing that if you're saying beefing up muscle? No. But the good thing is, though, Whis does say, beefing one's muscles up does not amount to proper training on its own. So Whis is simply saying you still got to get physically stronger, but you got to also mix in meditation and ki control with that. So yeah, they could still get physically stronger. That much is clear. So I don't know. Exactly, Kevin. And then look at this. Goku uses Hakai on the rock here, as you can see. People still forget Goku can casually use Hakai. Let's see here. Then this scene. When this happens, he powers up, hits Goku, breaks his arm, can't do nothing about it. Goku's way stronger than him. And then here's the interesting part. As we said, look at what we says. This is a key factor people forget. When Ultra Instinct is honed to this extent, the body will automatically grow sturdier as necessary. Why is this idiot messing around? So basically, we just saying the body gets stronger naturally. So as strong as you are, it adapts. Ultra Instinct automatically adapts. And that's evidence in a data book too that talks about it having an unknown power. So originally, Ultra Instinct, how many of you guys remember in the anime, as Ultra Instinct, the longer it fights, the punches get sharper and stronger and faster. Ultra Instinct was supposed to be ever-growingly strong based on his defense. I don't know where this, like, the stamina part is true, but, like, the actual hacks of the form was you weren't supposed to be able to sense that it was moving. Like Gohan's like, I couldn't even sense him dodge. You couldn't sense him dodge. You couldn't do anything. It has to be pure reaction. Subconscious. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like Toyotaro should have a notebook that wrote down details so it won't be exactly. Toyotaro's still a great artist, but again, like we said, he still is a student. He's still trying to learn. It's not the art it's the thing, it's the expression. Let's see here. Well, that helps. Now look at this. When he punches Goku, look at Goku's blocking. Goku blocks the punch, Goku calms his mind, and gets more serious. Notice that Goku's calm here. That's why I always personally think that this Goku is one of the strongest Gokus. I personally think that this Goku is stronger than Gas and Granola. There's a lot of evidence to suggest it when you actually look at the way the series is written. Whis has to teleport them out the way because the attack was vaporizing everything. Much appreciated, Whis, of course. Then it says here, wary of the planet. You're wearing of scarring the planet. Are you? Obviously, they're fighting. Haha, incredible. Fascinating how my body moves now. And then obviously Moro is able to move. Goku's flying. A contest of speed. Unless our abilities are evenly useless. Our abilities are evenly matched now. But Moro uses this. Comes around the side. Kicks Goku. And Goku is like, I also have magic which gives me a leg up. Goku dusts himself off. You think so? Then try a little harder. How are you still calm? I want you quaking in fear. Goku literally says try harder. And then Goku kicks him with an attack. Moro's arm breaks. A lot of people don't realize. Haha, pointless. My body's become tougher to compensate all on its own. So Goku still bruised him. But as they said, remember what we said. We said Ultra Instinct physically makes you stronger according necessary. So if it needs to beef up to compensate for the durability, it will do that. So imagine when you break your knuckles, and you know how your knuckles gets harder. Imagine if your knuckles just said, man, whatever that was that attacked me, I got to adapt to that. Like, oh, a rock, you punched a rock, let me adapt to make your knuckles big enough to break the rock. That's essentially what Moro's body is trying to do. Goku kicks him in the back, and look at his back. Swollen. Then it bulges up, gets him bigger. Haha, it's no use. Yeesh, what's with him? He's growing. His body is swelling in its attempt to contain that angelic power that now courses through it. So in other words, godly power is nothing to sneeze at. If you're not physically durable enough or have no knowledge of God Ki, you will literally you'll turn into what Moro's turning into. Moro's turning into this because Goku is strong enough to not only damage him, but body him. So that's the thing that people forget. Key factor. That's how Ultra Instinct was designed. Every attack Goku throws is literally turning Moro into, this. Even when Moro catches Goku slightly off guard and blasts him, Goku's just like blocks it, like, oh, how did you do that? And nothing surprises him anymore. Like it's like, damn, he just blocked that easily. So like I think the thing is that people need to still realize. I just wish we also need more cross hatching. Look at the cross hatching here, bro. We still need that back. Anyway, bottom line is, let's continue this chapter. I said I would finish it fast. Bro, do you sit back and observe the battle where neither party is permitted to rage out of control? Sure. Whis. How long was I napping for? Good morning. In terms of Earth time, you were sleeping for about 4 months. Jeez, I barely slept at all. Not with all this racket. And that tasty aroma. Hang on. I know you. That would be Broly. Broly? What's he doing at my place? Well, Frieza can't show up here, right? We grabbed him from his planet for peace of mind and safety's sake. Did I say you can bring guests into my house? This is not a hotel. Who are you? Lemmo, sir. A former member of Frieza's army. I appreciate the hospitality. That explains the smell. Come here. Damn, that's tasty. Your job. What was your job when you toured under Frieza? Chores and odd jobs, sir. Sometimes kitchen duty. Fantastic. You can stick around. What a letdown. Barely any valuables to be found on this rock. Jella. Yeah!
Don't mind me, just tidying up.
And who is this?
The name's Shella, sir. You're the god of destruction, Lord Beerus.
That's right.
The most feared entity in the whole universe?
Then the bubble sounds come in. Whoa, whoa! Blush. Cutie. Stay as long as you'd like.
Huh?
What's going on here? Lord Beerus was a type, and his tastes are shockingly basic. Lord Beerus has a type, and his tastes are shockingly basic. Anyhow. Yo, what you just said? We just said Shella's basic. Golly! That's messed up. Alright. Goku honed his body exactly. All distractions aside, let this match get going. Last man standing, no transformations, no Kamehameha or other such ranged attacks. Are we ready? Sorry, maybe we could eat first. I am starving. Goodness, Saiyans are such characters. Today. Piccolo, do you know what's going on? I do. I've been watching up here. Yep, well, I need a favor. I've heard back on Namek, how the Earl grow. Yes, I was saying, you should do that for me. That's right. I'm guessing you're the same type of Namek. Unfortunately, I won't be able to. I won't be capable of that until I'm older. Are you serious? But hey, why don't we use the Dragon Balls? This wish for the red ribbon already go poof and vanish. That wouldn't sit well with you and your pride. You could always ask Shenlong to draw out your latent potential the way the Great Elder could. Really? Shenlong do that? Yep. Alright, yep. Pretty much everything is repeated from the movie, so, I mean, apologies, chat, that I'm just kind of breezing through this. 'Cause I want to get to the good stuff in the stream. Obviously, they're eating. That other dish was scrumptious, but you outdid yourself with this one, Nemo. Earlier stew was a meal for the oracle fish. You fed me fish food. Fish food or not, taste buds don't lie. You wanna share some with us, oracle fish?
No, mine.
Consider me a fan. Nemo's our new head chef, Whis. You are fired.
Oh no, how will I ever go on living?
Please begin! Obviously, Goku and Vegeta have a nice duo battle. Goku goes here. Keep in mind, this is Goku's physical strength, so not Kamehamehas. If I recall, they're not really allowed to use Chi. So, talking about no using physical strength. Yeah, anyway. Pretty cool. Great choreography. I wish we had a little more of this in the movie. Really good. Good choreography. Vegeta's moves have changed ever so slightly. The fruits of his training, perhaps? Blah, this could take a while. How about some dessert in the meantime? Perhaps some ice, yep. Oh, let me go grab that. I mean, may I go fetch them? Sure, I'll lend you a hand. Oh my. Alright, obviously Goku and Vegeta are going crazy. Get over here and dig in, Broly. Oh, okay. Beerus isn't a good move with her around. He's not very social, huh? Alright, that's pretty cool. The tornado. But if Goku and Vegeta's physical strength could create tornadoes like that, then surely Goku can lift more than 40 tons. How thoughtful you, Lord Beerus. Yep. Alright, let's see here. And then Shenron comes. The typical. Everything happens the same from the movie. This is pretty cool. Can you give my booty a minor lift like a girl half my age? Huh? A simple matter. There, it is done. Hey, wait just a minute. Oh, why? Why not something that matters more? Well, excuse me for living. Actually, make my eyelashes 2 millimeters longer. Very well. It is done. Farewell, Master Piccolo. Are all of your wishes like those? You got a problem? No, I do. What now? Yeah, we should have wished to summon Vegeta and Goku back here. Ugh! You just had to get a butt lift instead.
What was that? You didn't think of it either.
Anyway, same thing. Bulma asking for a booty lift. Of course she wants Vegeta to come back, because she wants Vegeta to do something with it. All right, bro, don't tell. Dragon Ball isn't meant to be a series of consistency. It's just fights. The only reason people call it good is because of nostalgia, in my opinion. I disagree, Atox. I think the series is good because there are a lot of key elements. If you watch Totally Not Mark's videos, as well as some of my own, there's a lot of elements that Dragon Ball incorporated when it comes to adventure shonen. Because again, it's comedy based, and most shows can still maintain comedy. Comedy in most anime and fiction are always unnecessary. I mean, Nami, for example, punches Luffy. She doesn't have haki, but she still punches him and he bleeds because that's the joke. They have comedic moments, and that's what makes it memorable. Moments that can make you laugh, moments that make you feel like you're around the characters. Dragon Ball was able to accomplish that at such an early time in the late 80s. So it's not nostalgia. It's just a matter that the story was well written. I mean, think about it. A boy born from a distant planet. We don't know that yet, but at the time he was born of a distant planet, grows up on Earth, has something mystical about him, and goes on an adventure. And then that adventure becomes about him saving that same Earth. You know what I mean? The way they went about it, taking out Red Ribbon Army, and the adventures Goku goes on is a journey about his journey. Martial arts, again, journey to the West. Really interesting way they told it. Then when Raditz comes, it still was entertaining because Raditz comes and then takes his son, finding out that you have a brother that's an alien, and then other aliens come to take over the planet because deep down in long history, you were only sent to that planet because of, Tyrant Frieza and all of that stuff, and Goku finally beating the guy who enslaved his people for all such a long time. Goku finally coming to accepting his Saiyan roots. It's such a cool story, Even the androids is interesting as a story because a lot of no series back in the day did that. Like imagine somebody's son coming back from the future in order to warn you that you are going to die because Trunks comes from the original OG timeline, right? That's what makes it scary. It's dawning on you. It's like, man, to think these guys are this strong, and then, you know what I mean? So, yeah, there are a couple of nuances about Dragon Ball that could use a little bit of patching, such as like how strong they are in some cases. But overall, But yeah, that's what I mean. Just watch some string video. It pretty much tells you what the story is meant to be. Yeah. But we don't talk about him in this channel. At least not anymore. Anyway, yeah, okay. Good chapter. The only thing I'm looking forward to is the next chapter. So I basically read most of this already. A lot of chats like, all right, Atari, you didn't really read through this chapter much. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we read through the important parts to kind of give us an idea of Goku and Vegeta's infamous line. That's what we were looking for. Because, I mean, we're not really focused. I mean, everything else is literally generated from the movie. So, I mean, still a good chapter. But, repeating the story, it is what it is. But anyway, at the 45-minute mark, somebody write down 45-minute mark. Because we're at the 45-minute mark, and now we are done. So now we're going to get into the meat and bones of this entire... let me give my thoughts on the chapter. The chapter was good. I enjoyed the general beginnings. I think there are a couple things that could have been... implemented a little bit more again, but that's just because Dragon Ball at this point is kind of marketing off of a couple things. What I'm not looking for any adventures on Earth. I don't care about androids or anything. I just want to see what is Black Frieza's plan, because if it's something within Universe 7, it has nothing to do with the multiverse, then I don't really care for it. Dragon Ball, the whole point of Dragon Ball Battle of Gods was we learned that there are several universes. Let's explore those universes. Let's go on an adventure like One Piece. You know what I mean? Like, let's get that adventure going. Actually, Dragon Ball did the adventure stuff first. So let's get on that adventure again with the crew. We don't have that anymore. You know what I mean? So let's get there. But it's kind of hard to tell a story with characters who could fly and do this. Unless they do something interesting. It's like, we got to go and search for the Dragon Balls. Super Dragon Ball. Like, the Super Dragon Ball should have been an adventure they search for later. And then, like, they're looking for it. And, like, they have to go to a planet that, like, says... oh, because of the way the key is ruptured here, I can't fly. And we can't fly in this planet. It's like, why? It's not the gravity, it's that the planet has something about the laws of physics in this universe dictate that we're not able to do this and this. So then you pretty much nerf Goku in them, and it makes the story interesting. And then they find some new power-up that allows them to deal with that. Finding new ways to deal with new hacks is a more interesting way to tell a story, especially through a character's adventure. Like how Luffy learned that haki can allow him to attack people like Smoker now. Makes the story a lot more, interesting. Anyway. I hope they have Gohan use SSJ2 against Gamma. Yep. Equal stats Garu smokes Goku, to be honest, if that's what no powers mean. No, I don't think so, Atox, because Garu doesn't have a lot of knowledge that Goku has, because what you got to remember is Garu has counter-based martial arts that allows him to counter, right? Goku fighting Garu is not really a hard battle for Goku at all, because Goku pretty much, the technique Garu uses, Goku's very familiar with, right? And if its stats equalize, Goku can still use the Kaioken. He can still amp himself up and just body him with Kaioken. That's a technique, not a transformation. Now, let's say you remove Kaioken. Doesn't matter. Goku still has instant transmission. He has Bokujutsu. He can fly. Even if him and Garu were maxed in power, Ultra Instinct is way more versatile than anything 90% of characters in One Punch Man uses. So the fact that Goku can literally dodge pretty much every move that Garu... Because there are characters who surpass Goku, and Ultra Instinct still allows him to outspeed them. Because Ultra Instinct's technique allows you to deal with people several times stronger than you. So even if you're several times stronger and faster, Goku can out-blitz them. So if Goku's fighting someone equal to his power, he'll easily dodge them. No competition. So he'll dodge all of Garu's attacks pretty easily in just his base form. Even OG Dragon Ball Goku will put up a damn good fight against Garu because he's very creative on how he fights. He can take advantage of a lot of weak spots and hits and attacks that Garu wouldn't even look towards attacking. And I've seen both series. I mean, there's a couple of things they can do to each other, obviously. But Goku has a lot of techniques. It's not about the Mafuba, but, you know, the Kamehameha. He could shoot Kamehameha from his feet. He could look for creative ways to throw attacks from underground that Garu wouldn't see coming, potentially. A lot of scenarios you can argue, but I don't think Garu has a big enough resume to actually say he could beat Goku with equal stats. I don't think Naruto has a good enough resume to beat Goku with equal stats. Because you watch that fight, Goku is stated to be a genius. I mean, he learned a technique that took 50 years. You know what I mean? It took a 50-year technique he learned in a moment as a child. So Goku is a prodigy. He may not be a prodigy compared to the elite Saiyans, but for his stature, he's a very good learner. So that's the key story about Goku, because Sun Wukong did the same thing in the actual Journey to the West, you know what I mean? But, hey, appreciate it. J Rex with a $10 donation. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate it. Wow. All right. So to answer your question, J Rex, I'd love to. I think, in my opinion, the battle is, I think it depends on how you scale Naruto, because it depends on how you scale Naruto and Luffy. That's a very intricate question, and it's not something I can answer in 5 minutes. But to keep it simple, in my opinion, if we're looking at this from a no research perspective, Luffy wins. Luffy has better feats. Not better feats, because Naruto has like the moon feat with Toneri, but scaling wise, actually no, Luffy can't. Luffy has comparable feats scaling wise, and if we utilize the statements, yeah. By the way, I there's a little bit of a latency there, so I was already answering the question. But Luffy can deal with Naruto. I mean, a bunch of shadow clones, Jet Gatling can easily deal with that. Kong Gatling can deal with that. Luffy pretty much has something equivalent to the Sharingan, so he can counter Naruto in many ways. Luffy bypasses durability, so he'll attack Naruto internally with a haki. 9 times out of 10, the hardest thing about Luffy versus Naruto is how will Luffy's body react to Kurama's chakra, which burns. You know, it burns things. So there's a lot of ways to look at the battle, but I don't really think Naruto would win in most scenarios. But I do think it would be close. I've pretty much put it 45-55 Luffy favor. Luffy, if we had 100 fights, Luffy would win 55 battles, Naruto would win 45. I say it's pretty much that close. Now, if we're utilizing bigger terms in Naruto for the Otsutsuki feats and scaling, I think Naruto wins 85% of the time at that point, because the Otsutsukis have characters who are allegedly able to casually split worlds and absorb energy off of entire stars. You know, there's no comparison to that. Again, nobody is faster, but you can also argue Otsutsuki's travel entire solar system size realms to travel feet. So they also could compare to Luffy's raw speed combat wise and travel wise. But it still becomes iffy at the end of the day. But I think logically speaking, it would be best to kind of, you know what I mean? I think logically, without doing too crazy of an analysis, I think Luffy has a better chance just because the way Luffy fights in character. Naruto in character has to kind of rev up and get things prepared. Sometimes it depends, because it depends on how the encounter is. If Naruto is sent to assassinate Luffy, Luffy can die easily. But if Luffy is sent to fight Naruto in a tournament setting, I think Luffy will win. I really do. I think Luffy will win, because Luffy has better stamina than Naruto. One Piece characters fight for weeks at full max power and get stronger as they fight, similar to Naruto. Naruto characters kind of do something similar, but nah, One Piece is a little bit more on that insanity level, you know what I mean? Yeah, good point, Atox. It's not a very good example. Even again, NL fought space pirates who blew up part of the moon in One Piece chapter, so I think Luffy has a better chance there. I agree, Donaz. I think, like, it just depends. Like, Naruto, high-end Naruto absolutely dog washes. But, like, mid-end per mid-end, I think, let me put it this way. I think One Piece has better mid-end scaling than Naruto does. But I think Naruto has better high-end scaling than One Piece does. That makes sense? That's why I said mid-end and high-end are very important factors in any power scaling. You can't ignore them. Okay. It's 11:54 where I am. Let's go ahead and begin. Let's move forward. All right. We're going to move forward to this. Why are we going to move forward to this? Well, we could move to this. Yeah, guys. So again, we're gonna go ahead and stream this portion. So now we're on the main idea, and for those who don't know what idea we're on, this is rescaling the Dragon Ball Cosmology. So let me just kind of write something to kind of inform people of the topic. Cosmology. All right, so chat, so stick around. This is where the fun part comes in, because the idea of this video is perfecting cosmology, and this is the part we're going to need the most. We're going to need people to pay attention the most on this part, so. Topic. DB Cosmology. All right. So I know a lot of people want to focus on Heroes. Heroes is a very wonky series. It's not complete. So Cosmology scaling Heroes, you know, it's not useful with our time and the stream. So here's the topic. The topic is this. All right. So what we're going to be doing is, Uncertified Hater, you're not late. You actually just got to the grand finale, so welcome. So getting into the greater portions of it, right? All right, let's go ahead and begin. So we got 19 viewers. We got everyone's getting ready to start. Obviously, you guys are going to be wondering, all right, sorry, where are we getting into? What are we getting into today? I'll tell you exactly what we're getting into. We're getting into, actually, I don't need this window repeated. We're getting into something interesting. So we're going to be doing the cosmology scaling for Dragon Ball once again. So how do we do that? Let's go ahead and open ourselves up, our window. We're going to create a canvas. I want the canvas to be, I want to have 720 for the width. I don't want it to be too crazy, but lengthwise, I think a solid 4,000 is good. Yeah. I'm going to name this file Dragon Ball Cosmology. All right, so we gotta do this cosmology. We start from bottom to top because we got to start with the very basics, right? All right, so let's just make sure our mouse, all right, everything. Yep, that draw's pretty big. Cool. So with that being said, here's how we're gonna go ahead and begin this chapter. Go ahead and begin this scaling. So with the scaling, right? I'm gonna make sure I don't need it to fit the whole screen. I just need it enough to like be able to do this. So we're gonna go ahead and begin, guys. Ultimately, we're gonna have a background image. Then we're gonna put the so this is gonna be for the background because you gotta make it look pretty. This is going to be for the blocks. So this is gonna be for the blocks, aka the blocks. Right behind the blocks, you're gonna say images. Images, yep. Images. There's gonna be images there, and then there's gonna be sources, and that's it. So obviously, you want to save the file and put it on the main desktop. So now let's go ahead and begin. We're at the hour mark. Just remember, at the hour mark of this video, this is when we start. Let's go ahead and begin, guys. Ready? Let's talk about Dragon Ball, cosmology-wise, perfecting cosmology. Now, there are a couple important factors when it comes to power scaling in general, and I'm going to talk about those during this time. This is important. Now, ATOX, not ATOX, sorry. I don't want to call anyone out on stream or anyone, but I do want to say that important people to talk that need to have a voice in this are definitely going to bring to our attention, right? Everyone that deserves to have a voice, and so we're going to actually have this right here as the source. This is going to be our source, right? We're going to pull up our sources here. Let's go ahead and begin. So what are a couple things to understand about Dragon Ball? Well, first off, we need a disclaimer. A disclaimer is generally, this is not an objective list that has been approved. This is not an official list, okay? This is not official by Soesha, but it is a list that attempts to objectively power scale Dragon Ball characters. If you got Dragon Ball characters, let's go ahead and begin here. One of the listings I want to include, and I'm thinking about turning my camera. My camera is on, but I'm thinking about it. Nobody really cares. But I'm to show you guys the basics of what I'm talking about. It really comes down to Dragon. Actually, you know what? Chat, I should put the camera on. Think I should put the camera on? I don't think anyone. It's not that important, but maybe it might help engage. All right. So what's good, guys? This is Atari. All right. So we're gonna talk about the cosmology. All right. So here's a couple things you need to know. So first things first is when you're looking at any form of cosmology at all, the key factor is, and just in general, understanding what dimension means. Again, why does dimension tiering exist? Well, dimension is a measurement, right? So you got to measure something. All right. Measuring something in general, no matter how long or large it is, that's what dimensions are. There's dimensions of anything, right? This is more of a cylinder-based shape, but it has dimensions that can be measured through different formulas. This here, we have circumference, we have the circumference, we have the diameter, and then halfway, the radius, right? there are many ways, and you can even get the area of this using pi. So when you actually understand the basics of how power scaling is supposed to work for dimensional tearing was made. All right, for example, I got to think of an example. Let's see. Here's an example. Let's say these screwdrivers are brothers. This guy is stated to be infinite power all the time. He's infinite power, infinite power. His power is considered limitless in the narrative. The narrative states infinite power multiple times. We see feats that are consistent with that. Then we take this guy. Well, when we take this guy, how strong is this guy? What if we say he's stronger than him? How do you bypass infinity? It depends on the context. Because he could be stronger because he has certain power-ups. He could be very vague. He could be more skilled. So we don't really know. We can't assume. But what if, in this context, you have this guy? Power scaling has been around for like years. Years and 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 years. Years and years. Like, talking BC era. They would compare Hercules to other gods. So power scaling was always a thing. But anyway, he's infinite power. But what if I say he's also much stronger than this guy? Well, there's two ways to look at it. See, it comes down to what can these characters do. If I say he can destroy more than him, but he can destroy a universe, then it comes down to, okay, well, how do you destroy that universe? That's where it gets interesting. So that's why we have to look at it from a case by case. Let's take a look at one of our main pokes here. We're not going to go here. Let's look at what's the important thing about this power scaling. And I'm going to show you here. We're actually going to be using sources because we're going to treat this like it's school. And I know there's a couple guys in the comment section I know there's a couple guys in the stream like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. I just want to sit at home and no. Anyway, there are people at home like that. No, I'm not even trying to exaggerate. There are people out there like Comic Vine users. Like, no, like, I don't need to research. I already know, like, what I'm talking about. I'm a keyboard warrior. That's how people act. Real talk. So when people act like that, you're going to run into a lot of issues. Why is everyone laughing? Stop laughing. I'm serious. All right. But on a serious note, most people, we have to look at our sources, right? So this is a key source of evidence. So let's take a look at it before we dive deep into Dragon Ball. Number one, primary sources. What does that say? Primary sources, raw data, original source of information before it has been analyzed. Okay? Source material. Source material. That is important. The manga or the anime are primary sources. Next, the characteristics. First-hand observes contemporary accounts of events, viewpoints at the time. At the time, when it very first happened, when it first occurred, the raw. Examples, interviews, speeches, diaries, birth certificates, journal articles, newspapers, articles written at the same time. Like, as long as it's around that time frame, right? Cool. Next definition. Pay attention. You miss your old schools? You was a Comic Vine king? So that means Kevin Cubes was literally like, if he's a Comic Vine king, he was like, I'm the best power scaler in the world. The best power scaler. That's probably how he was like. Anyway, let's go back to it. Secondary source. Let's look at the secondary source. And again, you got to make this fun. You can't be all super serious, but let's get serious. And the secondary source says, sources that analyze or interpret primary data, sources that analyze or interpret primary data, right? So this takes this and looks at the old, right? So this is key. So we look at this, right? We're looking here. We look at this. Actually, you guys can't see my mouse. Let's change that up a bit. I want you to see my mouse. Let's all right, yeah. There we go. All right, there we go. All right. I can see it now. I don't know if you can see it now. You probably can't see it, but whatever. If we take a look here, we have, obviously, So whatever. Okay, now the mouse is there. Anyway, you have sources that analyze, interpret the primary. So we're looking at here. They do not offer new evidence. Secondary sources do not give new evidence. They just analyze the prior, right? Next, interpretations of information written after the event or offer review or critique. Biographies, journals, textbooks, commentaries, editorials, and literary criticisms. That's what we're doing. We're essentially analyzing. We're not offering new evidence. We're pretty much analyzing, compositing everything. But that actually goes into tertiary sources. Tertiary sources that compile data on a particular topic, such as how strong are Super Saiyan multipliers. This is going to be important because we tend to take information and scale them, right? Next up, says collections are a list of primary and secondary sources, right? Reference works, finding tools or sources, aka when I use HERMS, right? I'm using HERMS as a secondary source that analyze the primary source, such as reading and interpreting the original chapter. So when you use that as your source or as a secondary source on top of a primary, I'm putting all the sources together. So I can't stand you. Putting the primary sources together, when you put the primary sources together, you're able to come up with a plethora of information and evidence and data. So cool beans, right? So now we understand exactly how power scaling can be done in numerous ways. This is why I want to get into it. Oh, don't worry, we're getting to it. We can get into power scaling, but I have to explain this because there are going to be a lot of people who see this video or say, I watch Atari streams, and then they say, but he uses headcanon. No, Atari doesn't use, we don't just utilize headcanon. We actually use realistic information. Anyway, encyclopedias, Bertolli, you get the point. But research is important. When you're publishing something, you go through this. So since I'm publishing this, these are the ways we're going to go. But we got to go to the primary source to research, right? Let's do it. All right. Let's just jump right into it. So first things first, universe. Dragon Ball universe. How does that work? All right. First things first, Dragon Ball universe. We got to get a picture of a universe. Let's get a picture of a universe, all right? Let's go ahead and make this. All right. We go ahead and do this. All right. Grab this rectangle. I'm going to I don't want it to really. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's cool. It can be rounded off slightly, but no, I don't need it to be that type. Let's get a little bit of a rounded corner. Yeah. All right, so hold on. So first things first is obviously you want to make sure everything is captivated in the beginning. So we're going to capture things in the beginning and make it a little intricate. Let's make our background not as obvious. Let's make it a little gray. And then we'll just be able to add on to that after. So let's go ahead and get our blocks ready. So first things first, let's talk about our primary information. That's a little too thick. God dang, girl, you too thick. All right, let's change it here. Cool beans. So first things first, we're going to talk about and you guys seen this list. I've done this type of list before. First things first, we're going to talk about the main primary universe. This is Dragon Ball Cosmology. So starting with the Cosmology, honestly, I think I should start with Earth, but, depends. Let's see here. So in your story, you make the cosmology behind Dragon Ball Atari? Probably. I probably would. Let's see here. So when we're taking a closer look at this, let's grab ourselves the Dragon Ball universe. So we need a couple of examples. We need some scans. All right, let's get some primary sources for some scans here. All right. Generally, the general speaking universe, let's get a nice little picture of the universe, of space. So should we start with universe or should we start with the solar system? You know what I mean? Because like Dragon Ball has a lot of different ways. So we start with Earth because Earth's technically different planets have different dimensions. I mean, I don't think we need to go that deep. We don't need to go that deep. Heroic's getting out of pocket. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's take this image here. I'm going to copy this image right into my program here. And we're going to go from there. Yeah, we're going to start with the universe. All right. Let's get this down here. All right, cool. So first things we're going to do is we're going to place this right here. And just going to put it right behind the block. And we're going to merge it with the layers below. Merge it with layer below. So now it's stuck on image layer. Cool beans. And all I have to do is just take this, be like light alchemy, delete. Cool. Now we got an image. We got a nice little image. Looks great, right? Thanks, OmniJohn. Great. But let's now. Oh yeah, we're about to pull out a scan. But before we pull out the scan, we need to first grab our images. Let's go ahead and look at the scan. So Dragon Ball's universe. All right, let's start with level 1. Let's go mostly with this kind of text. I think this text is a lot more straightforward, simple, and easy to understand. Very legible. The observable universe. All right, and then we're just gonna. We don't need that much color. We just do that. Put some black there. Bam. All right, it's cool. So we got that. Now what we need is we don't need it on impact. We're gonna leave it on hand, and we're gonna lock it. Actually, no, we're gonna put it down to because we're gonna be using this pretty much often. We're gonna lock it to that naturally. So anyway, we have it there. Observable universe. This scale about to be diabolical. So yeah, I'm about to start cooking. So we're going to take a look at one of the raw scans. So bear with me a moment. I'm going to grab my Daizenju 4. And I think that's going to be a big component. Data books are weird because they either come from the data books either act as a secondary source or a primary source. But again, they don't. It depends. So one of our sources here, right? Like let's get into the meat and bones. All right, this server. Let's see how good this Chinese server is. Good. Server's pretty good. Let's go right into it. Cool. Let's pull up the scan right now. Next thing you see here on the scan, typical, it's very honest, straightforward what they're trying to communicate to us. Infinite space. Now, obviously, this says it's infinite space, so it's a little different from what you're mostly commonly seeing. Infinite space, we're going to get into a little bit later, but let's first focus on the actual cosmology of how Dragon Ball was orchestrated. Let's get into the author's mind, Akira Toriyama. Now, to get into the author's mind, we have to start going into these type of scans because these type of scans will really start to help us analyze the true nature of what we're looking at. And I think this scan right here is a perfect example of that. This scan right here is literally quite verbatim, straightforward. All right. And for those of you who don't know what it says, I'll go ahead and read it to you. Let's see here. All right, cool. Dimensional hierarchy. Let's go ahead and begin. So let's take a look here, guys. According to the original statement, and I'm going to post this in the chat. If anyone wants to copy it, you can go ahead and look at it. This is what you're going to get from the Japanese. This is what the Japanese originally says. Okay, pretty cool, right? Anyone can go around and translate that. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. As you can see here, yeah, there we go. Here's the English variant of that same statement. So as we're seeing the English statement, let's go ahead and read it live. infinitely expanding, and galaxy illuminations 10 of thousands of light years, hundreds of millions of light years, countless unknown aliens, monsters live beyond stars, which light cannot reach. Such as Yakon. Yakon's a prime example of that. So it's not introducing new evidence. So back to our source, the primary source is a primary source of information. It's not introducing anything new that we haven't already known. We know Yakon lives on the edge of the universe. Light doesn't reach his planet. They eat it. So with that being said, you know what I mean? That goes down and back into what we were talking about. So this is a primary source to kind of conclude that Dragon Ball's universe is infinitely expanding. This is an observable universe, okay? But there's a little bit more evidence to that. All right, ATOX, have a good night. All right, take care. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you. Appreciate it, Heroic. That's the point. We're going to bring all the evidence to the table. In fact, why don't I send this to SJ Rio, actually? SJ Rio needs to come around the stream. Let's see if I can get SJ Rio on here. Let me see here. Let's see if SJ Rio. I mean, guys, who knows? We might get SJ Rio up in here. I just texted him just now. We'll see if he answers. You know, he might be busy. So back to what we were saying, right? Let's go back into the main meat and bones. Hi, Maina. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Let's go back into the main chapter. All right. So first things first, we really started to analyze the universe, the hierarchy, and all that stuff. All right. So cool. We have the universe. Now, a lot of people are thinking things like, okay, but like Atari, that's infinitely expanding. Yeah, exactly. Expanding. Expanding doesn't mean it's already reaches infinity, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Just you wait. That's the first level of information. Now, for those of you who are curious, I'm on the official website. And actually, at being on the official website, I can actually conclude that this is page... The prologue is page 15. 15, 16... No, hold on. 15, 16... 17, 18, 19, 20. This is page 20 of Daizenshuu 4. So page 20 of Daizenshuu 4. And we can go back to our other source before we add information. We're going to do this one bit at a time. So let's go back to the primary source. Let's go back here and we're going to write sources. Obviously, we're going to write sources because we have sources of information that actually can be backed up. All right. So where are the sources of information from? All right, well, in this case, I'm going to lessen this. Sources. Sources of information. Let's list them off. All right, so sources are going to be listed off in a list to the left or the right that can give people... So when people look at this list, they have an evidence of it. So we're going to put Daizenshuu 4, page, ready? Page 20. Now, look. I put a comma there. A lot of people don't see it, but I put a comma there. I'm going to put plus, because plus is also going to include. Plus is a little bit more easier to see visually, so people kind of get the idea. Okay, it's that page and what other page? People are going to understand it, right? Let's actually go into the next scan before we go further. All right. Is there other examples that we can use? So let's go back here, actually. What we're going to do is we're going to put... infinitely expanding. Cool. So great. So we have evidence. It's infinitely expanding. Cool beans. So what can I do to? Yeah, let's do it. Let's write it. That actually no. I want it to be a little bit bigger. What we'll do here. Infinitely. We could say expanding or growing. Infinitely growing, right? That's better. It allows me to put the word all the way in there, and I don't need to... Actually, you know what I can do? Let's just do that. Yeah, that way I can put expanding. And then I can just kind of level this out. And then I'll put this. Let me cook, guys. Let me cook real quick. All right, now we're gonna do this. Cool. So we did that. Infinitely expanding, cool beans. It looks pretty good, right? Now let's move on to the next part. And I'm a new fan. I only knew about Sorry for a month. Hey, Kevin Cubes, welcome to the club, man. Appreciate you guys. Of course, Goku. The thing is about this video, it's called Perfecting Cosmology, because that's what we're doing. We're here to perfect the cosmology of Dragon Ball, because we're here to analyze Dragon Ball from its actual root. A lot of people don't want to do that because most people today are afraid of giving information. So, for example, most people today are typically afraid of the idea that Goku can get stronger than they think they are. This is about, why do we need to analyze the cosmology? Because characters in Dragon Ball threaten this cosmology. So we have to understand a little bit more about how it actually works. Let's give some more examples. So let's go ahead and examine further. Going back, there's another scan we can read. This scan is a little bit more intense. This is on page 54. So I'm going to jump to page 54 in order to provide you guys this level of information. Page 54 is going to also be important because page 54 acts as another level of another example of evidence. So let's see here. Page 54, where can we find it? I believe it is right here. Yep. There we go. Found it. All right, pretty cool. So let's go ahead and examine this right here. Let's dive right in. Here's another example. This is page 54. I mean, it says it right there. I mean, you guys can't. Oh, wait, you guys can't see that part. Let's add it back to the stream. There we go. You see it now. Page 54. I mean, come on now. I mean, how blatant can you get? I mean, come on. I mean, yeah, the cosmology block is blocking it, but like, come on now. Even if I block this out the way, I mean, come on. You can see it. It's right there. Page 54. It's right here. Page 54, Daizenshu. So look at that. Bam, bam, bam. Beautiful, right? So, cool. Topic is about Dragon Ball cosmology, page 54. Scroll up a little bit in page 54, and we're going to see this infamous scan right here. You see the scan right there? That scan right there that I'm looking on my big screen, you're seeing on this OBS screen, as you could see there's an important statement here. Let's break down what it says. So I actually have the Japanese raw scans and translations that's really going to help you guys understand what it's really saying. So for those of you who are curious, let's go ahead and post it in the chat. As you can see in the chat right there, it says, quite literally, the infinitely expanding universe is determined mainly by the direction that each king or kai manages, and the place managed by the king or kaio is advised by the kaio of the world and the gods of the north, south, east, west, and manages the universe. Ultimately, the great king god or king kaio is supposed to oversee the whole world. So there you have it. In this case, and I might not be able to put the whole thing because it's quite big, but I won't be able to put it in the chat because obviously we're limited to only 200 characters. But as you can see, that is the full scan. So this is the actual documentation that's being written right here. I made sure to double check this source. Primary source, again, giving us evidence that the universe is infinitely expanding. So again, there's another evidence that it's infinitely expanding. So putting a numeric value on how big it is, so this is page 54, okay? Don't forget that, page 54. So now that we added page 54 back to our documents, we could see page 54 is added on there. So we have the infinitely expanding universe, right? Next is additional evidence. So this is going to be called additional evidence. Additional evidence is basically evidence that adds to the evidence that we're giving because it supports this idea. So additional evidence in this context is things such as, well, the universe has many things about it. All right. So Dragon Ball Super, all right, so we know the reason this is because it's been stated, can there be a center to infinity? I mean, technically there can be, but, again, it's a little, it's a little strange to actually calculate how that works. So obviously that doesn't really, help in most cases. But back to what I was saying, though. Let's go back here. I want to provide you guys the source information. Let's go ahead and provide this level of information. So listen here. All right, so this is going to be important when it comes to actually scaling. Let's open the scan up, back again. But in my opinion, it's highly unlikely. Good job. Some things can be mistranslated. It would make sense. All right. Yeah, they don't want to use translation. Yeah, some things can be mistranslated. So that's true. But if you know what you're doing, then the translation comes out fine. I mean, because here's the thing, Ranzis. They're utilizing Daizere translations and scaling that get taken out of context quite often. So when they're allowed to use Umineko scale, they use Umineko translation, Daizere translation, but they're not willing to translate Dragon Ball? A little fishy, right? Think about that. Shows bias, because if you're willing to do one thing for two other series, but you're not willing to do it for, I mean, no, not even. Instant Death with Yogiri in it, they're willing to use Japanese translations. Vermeer Tempest, Anos Boldigold. Those are 5 series, all right? So we got Feathering, Augustus Roar from Umineko. We got Daizere, particularly Shin Sabansho series. We got Misfits of a Demon Academy, Anos Boldigold. And they got this. Here's another thing they got. They got Vermeer Tempest, and they got Instant Death, right? So 5 series. 5 series. They're able to use Japanese scans, but don't use Dragon Ball. We'll see. So infinitely expansive versus, well, expansive and expanding are the same thing. They're the same thing. But then again, you might be right. Let's challenge it. Challenge time. Let's look up a little definition. Let's see here. Expanding. All right. Open, spreading, and extending. So basically expanding is the participle, present tense. It is expanding. Now, expansive, let's check it out. Having the power to expand, to spread, or dilate as expansive force. Having the capability of being expanded as the expansive quality of air expansive. Well, that's one source down. Let's check another one. Let's check out Oxford. Oxford. Become or make larger or extensive. Now, expanding is the present participle, meaning it's currently happening. Present participle. Physics of the universe undergoing a continuous change, rather according to the theory based on observed redshifts, all galaxies recede from another. Let's go into covering a wide area in terms of space, extensive or wide range. So extensive, sweeping, rolling, and spacious and wide range. Of person, of their manager, open, okay, demonstrative communication, tending towards economical, political expansion. Okay, so there are 2 ways we can look at this. So what does it mean to be expansive? Having the capacity or a tendency to expand, because it comes down to the pretext of, sorry, not pretext, suffix of, is this suffix or pretext? Ive, I-V-E. What does I-V-E mean as a suffix? It is a suffix. Suffix, IVE, Middle French. All right, let's see here. The performs or tends towards an indicated idea. He's destructive. Destructive, IVE. Destructive, IVE. That performs or tends towards that. So he's destructive. He performs and tends towards destruction. Right? He is destroying, the present tense participle of destroying something. Here's an example. That is an example. It's a piece of paper. Currently, if I'm constantly destroying pieces of paper, I'm destructive. I'm destroying it now. Ripping it, destroying it, however you want to interpret it. I am destroying it currently. So when we see that's why the definitions don't really matter in those contexts. So expansive and expanding, same thing in this case. It has the capability of expanding, and it is currently expanding, according to the 2 scans that were just shared. Let's continue. Back to what I was saying now. We're on the edge of the universe, so we can't scan the entire area. Okay, we'll get into that. Again, more evidence that the universe of Dragon Ball is finite, right? The first base universe is finite. Let me cook. Trust me, it all makes sense. What episode is this again? I gotta remember. Pardon me. Here we go. And don't forget this. I don't want to see Korra. No, we don't need Korra here. We're not advertising for other people. There we go. Go to find the Super Dragon Balls. We need to go to the center of the universe. So obviously there's a center and there's the expansive part. I've explained this several times in my stream. You can have this is the part where lights, illuminations, galaxies are born, right? Cool. Let's go. So we know where the light, the illuminations, and everything are at. Cool beans. This is source evidence, Dragon Ball Super. Let's go back to our main source. Let's update that bad boy. Bam. I think we're ready. I think this is good enough to say Dragon Ball Super. And we'll just put edge/center. You know. What episode were they looking for the Super Dragon Balls? Let me see here. Center of the universe, UV. I'm gonna find that out real quick. Universe survival saga, no multiverse, blah 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 blah. Dragon Ball Super. No, that's episode 55. I want to utilize this to kind of get a little bit more information and evidence. But anyway, the bottom line is we kind of got a general idea of it. So yeah, we're pretty good to go. Let's go to the next statement or the next scan. You guys ready? Let's do this. So we're done with this. So what do we do with this? All right. So now we got to label them. Well, let's label the darn thing. "3D. Cool. This is three-dimensional. Three-dimensional. Universal levels. Cool. This is universal. But let's not just put 3D. Let's utilize some statements that will help anyone else reading this understand. All right. There we go. Yep. Uh-huh. Universal. Good. So we're at universal right now. Cool beans. The first level of Dragon Ball is universal. Feeling pretty good. We're not done yet. Let's continue on and move a little bit further. This one gets a little bit tricky. Next up, Demon World. Oh yeah, Demon World. You see, it gets a little bit more difficult now that we're talking about Demon World, but again, we'll talk about Demon World because Demon World is within the living world. The living world we're going to talk a little bit about in more context. Demon World is big, but Demon World is small in scale. It's not as big as a universe. So how big is it? We don't know. In terms of scaling, we don't really know. This is supposed to be a hierarchy. So where do we put Demon World at? We don't know. You see, this is where things get tricky. The Makai world, we don't know much about. The only thing we have is Toriyama saying it's small in scale. Let's see here. These are sources. I think Herms is producing a secondary source, so let's see here. Because we have the universe, the Makai, the demon realm. The demon world is a lower half of the living world, a dimension that exists on the reverse side of the universe. It is not to be confused with hell, which exists in the afterlife. According to Daizenshu 7, and for those of you who want to read it with me, I'll put it right on screen. We can go ahead and look at it, because we're using a secondary source, such as Herms, who's analyzing information from the series for us. So, as it says here, according to that, it's not, all right, the Kaioshin themselves don't really understand the demon realm, as not even the gods' eyes can reach it. As a result, not much is known about it other than the fact that it is home of evil life forms. Records are still around life form. Okay, like the universe, it is division between the 4 cardinal directions of the demon world. It is divided into several different spatial areas, though it's unknown how many there are or what these divisions are based on. Either way, all these areas are unified under the rule of Dabura, the king of demon world, and far and away its strongest reside according to Kaioshin. Or at least they were until Dabura was brainwashed by the wizard Babidi into becoming a servant. Okay? According to Toriyama, in the recent super exciting guides, the demon world has its own special gods called Makaio and Makaio-shin, king of the demon world and gods of the king of the demon world, respectively. They are antithesis of the Kaio, okay? So cool. Let's check that out. Herms gave us an idea. Let's look up the super exciting guides, the demon world. Fandom. Cool. Let's find the primary source, and once we get the primary source, I think we'll be all set. Let's look here. Series guide. All right, cool. Thanks, Herms. Appreciate your information. That's the thing, Kevin Cube. So that's what we're theorizing. That's what we're looking to cover. So if they have Kaioshin and Makaio-shin, then clearly they likely have a higher portion of the demon world. So we don't know how big the demon world is, but we definitely know it shouldn't be lesser, right? It's also part of a different dimension, so it's a different space. All right, different measurement. All right. So generally speaking, all right. Training books, transformation guide, Shin, Mr. Satan's real name revealed as being Mark. Power levels in the super exciting guide, story volume, transformation guide. Cool. And yep, character volume. We got that. Pretty cool. Super exciting guide, Daizenshu. This website is down. So what we're gonna do is there's an old interview of Toriyama that says small in scale. So what we're gonna do is utilize the information. We cannot give it a proper scale because a lot of the information we have not gathered. So that's why we have this file. We're going to edit most of this stuff and try to go from there. Generally speaking, Demon World clearly isn't, just a general 3-dimensional space. It's small in scale in terms of like back in the day, but Toriyama changed that in the Super Exciting Guide, right? So, that being said, the Demon World for Dragon Ball. Demon World for Dragon Ball, I think it's safe to say that it is enough for me. And if you play DBZ Kakarot, you might get some information on it. But I think the Demon World is enough for me to say that based on what we know about these statements on it, it's still 3D for now because we don't have enough information for the main canon. I'm not going to use the other games. I'm not going to use Heroes to scale it. So Demon World is... we don't know much about it yet, but we're still going to include it in this map. So let's go ahead and add Demon World, why don't we? All right. Let's add this here. Bring this down. right, so what we're going to do in order to make this image look smooth, we're going to copy this here. And then surrounding it, we're going to use some explosive flames. We're going to take some of that and take some of this, and then we're going to do something like this. Yeah. Yeah, so and we're going to just do that. And then we're going to take this blending tool. And I'm just going to start blending this up. Then the same realm, I'm going to add a darker level of explosions, such as this. Let's add some yellow. Not too much. And then we're going to add some artificial stars, make it look a little pretty. Again, the idea is this, you still want this to be aesthetically appealing, so it becomes a reliable source. Yeah. Add a couple of these because the planet. All right, there we go. Cool. Sorry, can't watch the stream anymore. I gotta go. I only saw a dozen minutes. All right, Thor's Hammer. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. I can't even imagine how strong Goku end of GT Goku is based on Atari scaling. Destroying Universe 7 is the same as destroying all Universe 7 timelines. If Goku and Beerus would have destroyed it. Good idea. Recently, Akira Toriyama and Toei have been addressing a lot of things within the manga. Maybe. I agree. All right, let's go on to the next one. Let's get this. Demon World. Not much is, and again, not much is known about it because we're not really exploring it in the main canon for now. So again, I think this is a good place to kind of put it at. Demon World here. We'll put sources. Only thing we can put is super exciting guide. Just came out in 2009. And Toriyama. I gotta find that interview with Toriyama. I will not feel comfortable doing this until I find the interview because again, the idea is always carry your sources. All right, let's see here. The timelines have their own Zeno. Yep, exactly. There's a lot to consider. Yep. It's small in scale. I remember him saying that specifically. Let's see if I can find it. Could Zeno, most normal My Hero Academia fan says, could Zeno Goku be minimum hyperversal because infinite pathways could? Good question. I would love to answer that, but I still gotta find the original source of what I was looking for. All right. Translations from these publications. Super exciting guide. Guidebook, translations, archives. Yep, nope, that's Demon King Piccolo. And we're going to be looking here. All right, let's see here. Filter by... I want interviews, so... Yeah. All right, Akira Toriyama 1980 interview. Nah. All right, interview. Animation World Guide, Akira Super Interview, around 4 for the World Guide. Yep. Yep. All right, this doesn't talk about demons, but we're going to definitely save this one for later. Great interview. I want to get into Akira Toriyama, Kanzanbai, Dragon Ball Forever. No, we don't need that. We need... We need Chozenshu? Could be. What's the data book that... What's the interview where he talks specifically about the Kaioshin? All right. Is this it? New World, blah, blah, blah. No, that's Nekomachin. We don't need that. When Atari puts it together, it's obvious Goku solos. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the interview where they mentioned the Makaioshin. I don't know why it's so difficult to find. Demon World, small in scale. He said that. Dragon Ball interview. Demon World, small in scale. I think I might have found it. Is that it? Full color, July translation. Ah, here we go. Let's go. We found it. All right, chat. We found it. All right. Toriyama literally says here, and this is the interesting part. What sort of place is the demon world? It's a hideout for mages. The demon realm is located in the universe, right? But its scale is very small. The size of the hideout for mages. The mages live in demon realms like evil goblins. Cool. So that's all Toriyama has to really say about the demon world. It's a world where gods live. It is also called the heavenly realm. It's a world inhabited by gods like Kaioshin, as well as spirits, the spirits of the dead. Normally, living people are unable to enter. All right. So we'll get that into consideration, but this is the so cool. This is the interview. So we now know Demon World is a little bit of a definitely very small in scale. When he says universe, he's not talking about the universe we just discussed here. He's talking about the living world universe in this context. All right. All right. Majin Buu. All right. Majin Buu Arc, Volume 05. Yep. July. Yeah, he answered this 4th of July. V number, let's do this, number 5. It's a big source, but Toriyama Majin Buu, yep. And then we're going to put in parentheses here, small and, oh, nope, not there. I want the parentheses to be here, small and scale. He said very small in scale, so he's clearly, you know what I mean? All right. Cool. I don't think we even need to put small in scale. We just need to analyze it. We don't really know where it scales at, right? So cool. We're done with that. Let's move on to the next portion, which is, I can't wait to get in there. So Demon World, it's a very finicky place. We don't have any idea about it other than that. So it's still 3D. Sits under the 3D category. Is it bigger than the observable universe? Probably not. But considering that it's stated to have Makaioshin, I believe logically it should have other areas that it can access that are higher. So since I'm including the Demon World as an ensemble and there's more info that has been collected, I think this is fine enough as it stands. Let's move to the next one. Because we're not claiming it's a bigger world or anything. We're just adding it on because it exists as a dimension, so we should include it. Now let's move on to the next important piece. Pocket dimensions, right? Well, actually, no. The living world. The living world. All right. This is where we get into good points. And this gets really good. Blocks. Trust me, this seems weird, but it's all going to make sense when it adds up. I'm thinking. Yeah, the living world is referencing the entire everything that happens to be part of each other. Because the living world specifically, when we go back to our scan here, let's pull it up. We go back to our scan here. All right, this is talking about the living world, the universe where every celestial, being lives at and resides, infinite space. So the living world is actually infinite. This here clarifies that it's infinite space. In fact, if people don't believe me and they want more evidence, let's actually look at what it really says. Boom, right there. That's the actual translation. So it says here, an infinite space of light and darkness where the unknown live. So that's pretty cool. The infinite space of light and darkness, the unknown live. Very straightforward to the point. I think it's clear that, the general universe is infinite. Adds up, doesn't really contradict anything, right? But there's a little bit more than that a lot of people still need to really kind of get into the picture. It's because we're not done yet. So that's the living world. Infinite space is the key here. So we're talking space. Now most people say, how can you be infinite? Well, it's like this. Say if this is an infinite something, it's expanding. Let's say this expands 1 millimeter per 10 years. Let's say my room is infinite, right? My room is infinite. It will never reach the edges of my room. But this will never stop growing. Make sense? So it has a center and it has edges. The edges are just expanding very, very, very slowly. And that's how you can have an observable universe sit inside of an infinite universe. The living world, infinite. This is one scan. This is just one scan. There's another scan I'm going to throw into it with the actual cosmology. Let's pull that up right now. I shared this with you, Andre, so bear with me if I go in our private chat. Infinite. All right, let's go to our pinned comments. We pin a lot in these conversations. Godly. There we go. Yep. Bada boom, bada bing. I'm ready to sing. Here it is, baby. Daizenshu 7. Daizenshu 7. Page 44. All right. Page 44. Or rather, yeah, this is page 44, which leads other references in other pages. But this is page 44. So what does it say here? Let's highlight it. Let's highlight it. Let's go into some funny detail. Oh, yep, that's definitely going to be useful too. We're going to use that. This is a good image. I'm going to put this image up here too. This image explains exactly what I meant by when I said Dragon Ball can be infinitely expanding. Chat, if this makes sense, leave some fires in there. You know what I mean? Why hasn't the alert played? That's a little strange. But The Dark Knight, thank you for the $1.99 donation. I appreciate it. Are you going to post the scale on Discord? I will just leave it as a video, but the scale, I will post it on Discord, though, if you're looking for the image. Now, let's see here. The Earth belongs to a galactic nebula on the outskirts of the galaxy. Cool. Good, I'm glad. Fire. That means you guys understand. This makes sense. This is the most logical take. Yeah, this circle is expanding, but the universe is already infinite. It's never going to hit the borders. So that doesn't negate either argument. It's not an anti-feat of sorts. Let's go into the scan here. So when we jump into the original scan, what makes it interesting is we got to actually find the comment here. I believe it's about right close. Not right there exactly, more so about, because it has a star next to it. There's a kanji for uchu that exists that I'm looking for. So as you can see here, I'm looking for the comment that says uchu. Close. It's not around here. Here it is. Uchu. I never will miss this. I would never miss this comment. Uchu is a very easy word to recognize right here. Uchu. Uchu. Okay. So right here. Is this the one where it says that statement? No. I need an uchu and a ru. Uchu, ru. Something along these lines. Uchu. Oh, not here. Uchu, Goku. No, not that. It's somewhere in here. I know it's here. I'm looking for that specific point. Da 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 da. I'm loving it. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. This particular portion. So I'm going to kind of highlight it. Follow my hands. Follow my fingers or my mouse. Boom. Boom. Boom to boom. So see this period? All this here is what I'm going to translate to you in the chat. Boom. There you have it. Page 44, Dimension 7. An endless space that envelops, right? And envelopes all the celestial bodies that exist in this world. So it envelopes. So envelops, what does envelop mean? Let's take the definition. Covering or containing structure or layer. Obviously, flat paper containing a sealable flat using, but like if we're actually looking at the definition, like the verb or generally, not viruses, a curve or surface, no, not that. The nebulous covering the head of a comet, yeah, it's not that deep. But when you look at the term envelope, right? We look at the term envelope, right? To cover by wrapping or folding, to enwrap, to invest with a covering, right? To surround it entirely, to cover all sides. So basically, like the image I showed you, oh no, let's go back. Let's go back to our last image. To the image this black space on the outside, this black space all in the outside is covering all these celestial bodies here, right? So if it's covering all celestial bodies, it is literally, as it's playing celestial bodies, it's literally giving us primary evidence of that. So when we go back to our main source, as we're going to update here, we're going to trust me, we're going to do this. What we want to put here is living world, right? Truly infinite. All right. But it gets a little more complicated. You see, there are little micro nuances about the living world that I'm going to include actually on the next step up. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do that. The living world gets a little convoluted and complicated because there's a living world and there's things outside the living world that technically constitute as part of the living world, but not part of it at the same time. We're going to talk about those. Those are extensive dimensions. We'll get into that in just a bit. The living world, though, is infinite. So in most cases, let's take a closer look at the infinite world. We're just going to say infinite, right? Infinite space. Save that. And then we're going to do that. The living world, infinite. Cool, right, everyone? So now that we've gotten that, let's get a nice image for the living world. I think for Dragon Ball, put DBZ universe. I gotta see images of the Dragon Ball universe. Yeah, I think this image will be good. All right, so this image is here. We're gonna grab this. Oh, and by the way, this here for the demon world, we're actually gonna merge that with the layer below. Go back to layer number 2. Cool. Now it's above. Let's put it below the block layer. Let's gather it. Put it up. Right, we don't need to keep the ratio of it. That image is not super high quality, and I want these images to be at least decent looking, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Let's get a better image here. It's funny how people still got my stuff being posted everywhere. It's funny how I have a big influence, but nobody actually knows it's me. I feel happy about that, though. I found my image on Google, the one I made, the prior one I made. All right, but anyway, we need to get deep into this now. I mean, that's the universe, but like I need a better quality scan. All right, let's do this time. Bam. All right, let's take the same image and Actually, guys, we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Let's take this image. This image looks cleaner, looks better. You know what I mean? Looks more intense. No sources have been shown so far for it being infinite. Wait, what? Where have you been? Yeah, I literally just where have you been? You just can't. You said you wasn't gonna watch it, and you just come out of nowhere and then just say no sources have been shown. I literally just named 2 sources right here in the stream. I literally showed the scans. I literally showed the scans. Like am I blind? Am I blind? Hold up. Nah, hold up. Am I blind? Like damn. Am I Toph? Am I an earthbender? Like, did I not just post the scan? You gotta hold on, fam. Let me cook, all right? I'm putting the seasoning down right now, all right? So let me just finish doing that real quick. Let's do this. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Infinite space, yeah, that kind of gives the vibe of infinite space. But I would say there could be a better image than that. That will show infinite space. Maybe something a little bit more. Hey, what's up? I have 3D glasses because I'm not. You trying to say it's 3-dimensional, so I'm trying to put 3D glasses to see where the cap is, bro. I literally just did the scan, so you gotta bear with me a moment, though. I gotta. I don't know. Do I like this image? I guess I like it, but I kind of want to treat it a little bit more like mystical. So I'm going to take this as the last scan. We're going to use this, guys. This is better. All right, let's do this. Copy that. Yep. Do that, and do that, and do that. All right. All right, cool beans. So, yeah, that's pretty good. We did that. Now let's include the sources. The sources of information. Sources. This is the important part. All right. Sources are always good. All right, sources. Sources of information. These are primary sources. Primary source number 1. Daizenshu page. Let me count. I have the Daizenshu in front of me. All right, that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Page 19. All right, let's go to, I'm going to put page 19. And that's Daizenshu 4. That's Daizenshu number 4. Plus Daizenshu, all right, and Daizenshu number 7. Page 44. Was it 44 or 48? Let me double check the scan. No, it wasn't 44 or 48. It was yeah, it was 44. It was 44. So finally some good quality content. What we're basically doing is we're going over the evidence live stream and we're presenting it to everyone available. And as we went over before, there's primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. This is when you're about to publish information. When you're researching, you always want to look for the primary source. We're looking for primary sources. Herms is being utilized as a secondary source in some cases for translation purposes and for the sake of expediency. But if it's something that I haven't looked at myself, I'm not really going to include it. That's why you see Demon World here is still considered 3-dimensional, because we don't really know, you know, the nuances about it. The living world, though, is this is where we get into this realm, 4D. Now, generally speaking, it would seem like the living world would be high universal, right? It would be high universal. Actually, let me get one of my homies on this. Let's get cooking. Let's see here. So to begin with, let's talk a little bit more about, it talks, you got to remember the key thing when it comes to any discussion is you can't jump to the conclusion it isn't, because if you haven't actually talk with somebody who knows it, how can you know? How much of Dragon Ball have you actually watched? You know, how many of the data books have you actually read? How much of Japanese do you understand? How many off-season Dragon Ball content have you kept up with? There are people who've been doing this for a long time. And so when they're looking at it, it's always good to humble yourself, or humble ourselves, generally us as people, humble ourselves to always see where somebody's coming from, right? Because you never know what information somebody brings forth. A lot of people say, hey, Dragon Ball, like for example, I just provided 2 scans, right? Remember, I had a scan where it says, look at, I'll put it up on stream real quick. I had a scan where I just said the universe, as you can see right here. Look at the scan right here. Look at it. I'm looking at it. You look at it. Look at me. Come here. Come closer. So I'm looking at it and you look at it. Look up there. Right here. You see that right there? It says we're on the edge of the universe, so we can't scan the entire area. All right. So it has an edge, right? All right, cool. It has an edge. We just read from another primary source, right? We just read from a primary source here. It says it's infinitely expanding. There's not much room for interpretation in that, right? It's very clear what they're trying to articulate to us. But that's not it alone. We also go find Dragon Ball Super in the center of the universe. You have a center of something, right? All right, cool. I just gave an example. You left the stream, but in case you missed it, listen here. You have this right here, and you have the center of the universe. This is the center. Let's say this is the center. This little part here you see here, for my camera covering, this is the center, right? This part, these edges you see where the Elgato logo, these are the expanding parts. It expands. Let's say it expands 1 millimeter per second. But this entire room is infinite. Obviously, it's not. We can see the corners, but let's say this room was infinite. The idea is this will never reach the infinity part, but this is where everyone lives. When you leave outside of this, everything else is just a void. It's just infinite. This is why I made this diagram here that says this is the galaxies, right? These are the galaxies. This part is infinitely expanding. The infinite space comes from the scan here on page 19 of Daizenshu, but also page 44 in Daizenshu 7. So you have 2 sources saying it's infinite, 2 other sources from Daizenshu 4 that says it's expanding. Additional evidence that also says it's expanding, but also you have Koyama, who's also claiming that it's infinite. So when you have these statements, you have like 3 sources saying it's infinite space, and then 3 or 4 sources saying it's infinitely expanding. Does it have to be a false dichotomy? Do we have to say, it's either this or this? No, it doesn't. It can actually be both simultaneously. That's how you power scale. That's how you use logic, and that's how you utilize logic, by looking at evidence that can be coherent and cohesive at the same time and come to this conclusion. That's why we are able to come to a solid and sovereign conclusion